ที่รักคุณสาคุณสา
คนที่ฉันรักคือไออุ่น
Hi, and welcome to Wouldn't Be a Drama, a GL Drama podcast. I'm your host, Jazz, and today we're going to be recapping Whale Store XOXO episode 3. A lot happened in episode 3. It's very exciting and a little emotional. Not like tears emotional, but I mean, if you watched the episode, you know what I'm talking about. But before we get started with the episode, I have a little bit of an announcement. I made a community post. If you guys haven't seen it, if you could please go check it out, I would appreciate it over on YouTube. Linda and I were talking, and when she comes back from her vacation, we were thinking about possibly doing some reaction videos for you guys, either on series that we've already seen or series that we haven't talked about on the channel yet. But yeah, we just want to do like a little something extra for you guys. But we want to know what you guys think about it, and then maybe possibly starting a Discord, so that all of us can get together on there and talk about dramas and stuff like that. If that's something that you guys are interested in, if you could please leave it in the comments down below, or go over to that community tab, community post that I made over on YouTube, and drop your thoughts and stuff on that. I would greatly appreciate it. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and recap episode 3 of Whale Store XOXO. So we start off pretty much where we left off in the last episode with Maynam talking to Juan in the rain under the umbrella about how she's returning the favor for that one night when Juan covered her with an umbrella when she was a student. And she tells Juan that every time it rains, she thinks about that night because it really helped her. And so it starts raining harder. And so they push everything back inside and they go inside to dry off. And, you know, Juan gives her a towel so she can dry off so she doesn't get sick. And Juan asks her, so are you better now after that night? Like, why were you crying, basically? And if she's okay. And Maynam explains that it's because at the time her parents were breaking up. And so that got me thinking. I was like, well, was that guy that we saw in the last episode, was that her stepdad? Or was that her dad? And they got back together? I don't know. I guess we'll find out in future episodes. So, but yeah, she tells Juan that at the time she felt like her world was kind of turning upside down, and she thought that she was going to end up losing the love of either one of her parents or both of her parents. But then later on, she realized, you know, this isn't my fault. This is something that has to do with them. It has nothing to do with me. But she says she's fine now. So we love that for her. So they start talking about like sharing the towel. And Juan's like, no, we don't have to share it. Like, you're fine. Like, this is the only one I have. I haven't had a chance to bring everything. She's like, I'm going to go back to my condo and bring everything by later. And so Maynam's like, okay, fine. So she puts the towel over her head. But then she's like, we could both share it then. So she puts it over Juan's head too. And they're both sharing a very close and long staring contest. They're having a very long and close staring contest. It's very cute. But yeah, after a few seconds of that, Maynam was like, I think it stopped raining now, so I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm gonna go back home. So she runs off, and the next thing we see is Juan at her store, looking at shampoo bottles, and there's like 4 different scents, and she finally gets to the pink one, and it smells like Maynam. So she's smiling and giggling over finding Maynam's scent at the time that some workers come into her store asking for some stuff, and one of them jokes like he's gonna steal something, but he doesn't. He's like, I was just kidding, I wasn't actually gonna steal it. But that puts Juan on high alert. And later she finds out that she is being someone is stealing from her, but it may not be them. But in the meantime, we cut over to Mainam, Chomphu, and Tonnam, and uh, Juan is Mainam is making a blanket with a little whale on it, like a little whale decal. It's so cute for Juan. And Tonnam and Chomphu are like, what are you making? Who is it for? Is it for your grocery store girl? And Mainam gets so excited. So she goes over and shows them the little bracelet that Juan made her, that she matches with Sam, the little kitty. And they're asking her, like, why don't you just start dating her? And Mainam was like, because I don't know if she likes women or men. And she kind of flips the subject over to Chomphu and Tonnam, and it's pretty much saying, like, why are you guys keeping this a secret? Like, Chomphu, I'm sure your mom is you should tell your mom. I'm sure she's very open-minded. And Chomphu's like, it's not the same. Like, she's open-minded with other people, but not with her own kid. And it's like, I get that happens with some people, but you never know if she's gonna be open-minded with you or not until you tell her. Like, you gotta tell her. But we get like a little bit of a, like, she starts like getting a little sad and stuff, and Tonnam asks her, like, if her mom is giving her a hard time, and she's like, it's not so much she's giving me a hard time, it's that ever since your brother came to pick me up, she keeps asking if we're dating. And so we get like a little montage, like a little flashback montage of all the times Chomphu's mom has asked her, like, hey, are you guys dating yet? Is he your boyfriend? Like, it's okay if you date. I like him. He's very cute. He has fair skin, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it's just constant nagging from her mom asking if she has a boyfriend. And I can see why that could be very annoying. Especially when you're not dating that person, you're dating their sister. But we kind of see Tonnam get a little, sad at this, because, and Chomphu notices it too, and she asked her, she's like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? And she's like, I mean, it's just, I don't want to be in a relationship where I feel like I'm hiding all the time. And I get that. I've been in a relationship like that. It's not fun. But yeah, she's like, I don't want to feel like I'm constantly hiding, and Tonnam just keeps telling her, not Tonnam, Chomphu keeps telling her that she's just trying to find the right time to tell her mom about them. And I don't know. In my head, it's like, if you're not making that a priority, I don't think there's ever going to be a right time for you. Like, there's always going to be something that's holding you back. You just got to rip the Band-Aid off and tell her. But we cut back to Mainam at the store visiting Juan, and she finds Juan like searching through some stuff, and she's like, hey, what's up? And Juan tells her, like, I think I lost some money. Like, my jar was pretty much full this morning, and then now I barely have half left. And Juan tells her that she did have some sketchy customers early this morning, so she thinks that they might have done it. And so Mainam's like, well, why don't you want to put some security cameras in? Like, I can put them in for you. And so she takes her up on that. So Mainam is putting in some security cameras, and she's trying to take the advice that Chomphu and Tonnam gave her to see if Juan is interested or not. And they gave her two pieces of advice. One is skinship, like subtle skinship, like not don't go full blown, but like subtle skinship, like touching of the arm, see how she reacts. If she makes eye contact, then that's a good sign. And then the other one was um what was the other one? Like being confident, you know, um manifesting it, like trying to make it happen, like saying I love you, stuff like that. Don't say it out loud, but just think about it in your head, and just kind of manifest it a little bit. So we see Mainam looking into the security camera. Juan's at the table looking at the feed on her tablet, and Mainam's just doing like these silly little gestures. She's like doing a heart and saying I heart you, trying to see if if Juan catches the bait. And Juan's smiling a little bit, like she's thinking this is pretty entertaining, but then something else catches her eye, and so Maynam's like, "Oh, well, maybe not. I don't know." So she's confused. She's a little confused, but Maynam ends up falling off the ladder, and lo and behold, who is there to catch her? Juan. So Juan catches her. They have like a little slow-mo moment. Maynam's just soaking it in. She's like, yay. It's like she's soaking it all in. But Juan ends up giving her one of the bottles of the shampoo that she was looking at before. And Juan's like, oh, Maynam's like, oh, this is the one that I use. And she's like, did you secretly smell my hair to find out what shampoo I use? And she's like, no. She's like, I just want to make sure that you're not grubby. And I was like, no, I'm not. I wash my hair every single day. I'm like, all right. All right. But yeah, we leave off at that. Maynam goes to leave, and she leaves that blanket that she made for Juan on the table. And Juan's like, oh, hey, you forgot your stuff. And Maynam's like, oh, no, that's for you. And Juan, she's being very I don't want to say very cool. I guess she's being pretty cool about it. She's like, oh yeah, I was needing another one of these. And then Maynard was like, why didn't she smile? Like maybe I'm reading too much into it. So she's not too confident at the moment that Juan likes her. But so next we see Juan's in the shower, and she's like, she smells the shampoo, and she's just kind of reminiscing about everything that's happened a little bit. But she's in her room now, and her and Sam are in there, and she's trying to test out whether or not she likes Maynam or not. So she uses Sam. I think this is so cute. She uses Sam to try to get the answers. So she has Sam on her desk, and she has two cards, one with a little check mark, a green check mark, and the other one has a red X. And so she's like, I'm gonna ask some questions, and then you tell me with the cards if it's true, and like if it's a yes or a no. So I think the first question she asks is, do I miss Maynam? And immediately we see a little paw going to the yes. And she's like, wait. Why did you answer that so fast? And then I think the other question she asked was, do I like her? And we see a little paw go to the yes again. And it was very cute. So the next day, Juan is, at the store. And the same workers come in from the day before, asking for some supplies. So she's like, okay, yeah, I'll go show you. So she purposefully moves her money closer to the edge of the table to try and trap them. They don't end up taking it. But when she comes back, she does notice that her money is missing. And so she accuses them. And then when they ask her for proof, like they tell her, don't go around accusing people of that. Where's your proof? And so she checks the cameras, and she sees who takes it, but it wasn't one of the workers. And so they get mad, rightfully so. And they storm off, and one of them tells Maynam not to shop here because the owner has a bad attitude. And so Maynam comes in, and she's like, what happened? And, Juan tells her, like, I was helping these guys, and my money went missing. And I accused them of it, and it wasn't them. And Maynam was like, okay, well, did you look at the cameras? And Juan's like, yes. And so she shows Maynam the camera feed, and it ends up being F1, Pin's son. He takes her money. And it looks like he's the one that took it the last time, too. And so, Juan is kind of struggling with what to do. Should she tell Pin? Like, she wants to tell Pin, but then Maynam tells her that might not be the best idea. And so they kind of go back and forth on how to do it. And Juan, I understand Juan's position. Like, she's like, if I don't tell Pin, then it's just going to seem like he's getting away with it. It's going to make him think that he can get away with it, and he's going to keep doing it. And Juan's like, Maynam's like, I get that, but you also have to understand, Pin is a single mom. She's trying to take care of him and take care of the store, and she probably hasn't had time, to teach him, not to do things like this, and it's just going to add more stress. And I do kind of agree with Juan. I'm not going to lie. She's like, yeah, but being a single mom is not an excuse for him to steal. And it's not. I agree with Juan. I agree with Maynam too, to an extent. But I do think that, Pin needs to know what her son is up to, because how else is she going to correct it and fix it if she doesn't know, But while they're having this little back and forth, we go to Tonnam sitting in a cafe, looking very sad, and she's been waiting on Chomphu, it seems like, for a while. And so we see Chomphu come in, and she's like, I'm so sorry, like, I'm so sorry I'm late, blah, blah, blah. Trying to make it up to her. And she's talking about her mom grilled her again that morning about her brother, and like asking questions like, where are you going today? Is he picking you up? And she's like, I had to come up with this whole story just to get here. I'm so sorry. And Chomphu, she's trying to, you can tell she's really sad. I feel so bad for her. You can tell she's really sad. But she's trying to like comfort Chomphu too by saying, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Like, it's fine. So they continue with their date, but you can tell the energy's off. But they continue with their date. And we see, next we see Juan and Maynam at the restaurant, and Pin is cooking or prepping for cooking, and F1 is sitting on the counter playing a game on his phone, and Juan is staring daggers into this kid. She really wants to go and confront him, and luckily Maynam is there to try to like calm her down a little bit. And she's like, didn't we agree that you weren't going to talk to him? She's like, I'm just here to eat. She's like, Juan's like, I'm just here to eat. She's like, I know they're struggling and everything, but and we hear Penn in the background asking everyone to grab her a plate, and he's like, in a minute or in a second, she's like, put your phone down and hand me a plate. She's like, all you do is play games all the time. I don't even know where you got the money for all these games. And that's when Juan perks up. She's like, really? You stole my money for a game? Like, it wasn't even to help your mom. It was to buy a game. And that irritates her. Irritates her so much to the point that she goes over there and talks to him. While Maynard's like, please be calm. Please be calm. Juan's like, don't worry about it. I got it. And so she goes over there and she stands next to him and she's like, hey, can we talk? Like, hey, I need to talk to you. And he's like, what do you need to talk about? Like, what do we need to talk about? And someone's like, it's not something that we should talk about here. And she's looking at him, and you can tell that he kind of knows what she wants to talk about. So they go outside in the back, and she asks him straight up. She's like, did you take money from me to buy a game? And at first he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she tells him, like, I'm giving you the opportunity to come clean. And at first he doesn't want to. But, she starts talking about it, and then, she's talking about how the other day money went missing. So they installed a security camera, and they caught him on camera this time taking the money. And so he apologizes, but he doesn't really apologize, but he just says, please don't tell my mom. And before anything else really happens, Pin comes out because she overheard it. And she's not happy. She's like, you stole her money. And she starts hitting him. And she's like, why would you do that? And she's like, how much did he take? I'll pay it back. And Juan's like, we can talk about this. Like, and Pin's like, no, how much? And Juan tells us about 500 baht. And so Pin, she goes into her apron and takes out all of her money and repays the 500 that he stole. Excuse me. And so she drags her son into the inside. And she's like, who taught you how to be a thief? And just going off on him. And Juan feels bad. She really does. She didn't want that to happen. That was not her intention. But that's what happened. So next we see Tonnam dropping off Chomphu, and Chomphu's being very affectionate. And she's like, she's like, I could have stayed out longer. You didn't have to take me home now. And Chomphu and Tonnam's like, it's okay. Like, if we came home late, then your mom would just ask you more questions, and might as well save your lying quota for another day. I was like, ooh, yeah, she's not happy. But Chomphu asked her, "You're really not mad?" And Tonnam was like, "I'm not mad. Okay, just go ahead and go. I'm not mad." Tonnam does the same thing I do when I'm irritated about something. I deflect. Like I'd be like, "No, I'm not. I'm okay. I'm not mad. I'm all right. I'm okay. Don't worry about it. Just go." Instead of actually talking about the issue, I don't do that much anymore. I've gotten better at communicating, but it just depends on what it is too. In this situation, I probably would do the same thing that Tonnam is doing. So they go separate. Tonnam stays, Tonnam stays in her car. Chomphu goes back inside, and she sits down to get a little manicure. And so she texts Tonnam to say, like, "Let me know when you get home." And Tonnam just replies with a "mm-hmm." Like, yeah, yeah, I will. And we heard a little bit of gossip from her mom about Pin's son stealing from Juan, and how she's so happy that Chomphu doesn't cause any trouble, and she's such a good kid. How she went to university, is now a professor, even after her dad passed away when she was 5. She's never caused any trouble, and that kind of sets Chomphu off a little bit. So she stands up and she's like, "I need to talk to you." And at first I was like, "Oh, Chomphu, you gotta come clean. You gotta tell your mom about your relationship." We'll find out. We'll find out what they talked about. So after that, we go back to Maynam and Juan outside of her store, and Juan is she's very upset. And Maynam tells her, like, "Don't beat yourself up over this. It's not your fault. F1 did what he did. Pin has to, take care of it. Like, kids his age right now are going through a turning point. They have the reasons for doing things that we don't know about." And Juan's like, "I know what he did was wrong, but it doesn't feel right what happened." And Maynam's just trying to, reassure her that it's not her fault that he's being punished. And every time Juan shows to put her head down, Maynam holds it up, and she holds it up a little too long at one point, and they're just kind of staring at each other's eyes. And then Pin comes in and sees this, and they have a little bit of a conversation, and Juan apologizes for causing the fight between her and her son, and saying that he might have had reasons for why he did it. And Pin's like, "I talked to him about it, and I asked him why he did it, and he told me that he doesn't have any friends at school, and that they tease him every day because he doesn't have the same games that they have, and so he just wanted to fit in. So he took the money so that he could buy games, but then when he did buy the game, people were upgrading it, I guess. And so he stole more money so that he could get the upgrades too, so he could fit in with the kids at school." And that makes Pin sad, because she feels like she's not doing enough to be able to provide for him the things that he wants in order to, make friends at school. And I feel bad for that. I feel bad for them. Like, it's not kids are mean. Kids are very mean. Um yeah, being bullied is not fun. I've been bullied in school too. It's not fun. Um but that's no excuse for him to steal. Like, he shouldn't have done that. That's not good. But after that, you know, Pin Pin kind of clocks them a little bit. She's like, "Why are you guys standing so close? Are you seeing each other or something?" And and Maynard's like, "No, I was we're looking at the security cameras." And Pin's like, "You're getting very defensive." Okay. And she's like, and so she walks off. And it's later that night, and Juan is telling Maynam to, pick some stuff from the store as a thank you. for helping her with everything, the CCTV, the situation with Pin and F1, and just helping her out in general. And you know, uh they have a cute little moment where uh Maynam grabs like a basket of snacks and says, well, maybe I'll just sell these on my own. And Juan stops her and she's like, wait, no, don't do that. And so, Maynam says, I have to go, I have to teach my evening class. And Juan makes a comment to her saying, oh, she tells Juan that she'll be back to bother her afterwards. And as she's walking to her bike, Juan tells her that she'll be waiting. And Maynam stops and she's like, wait, what did you say? And Juan's like, I've already said it once, I'm not saying it again. Go. You're gonna be late. And Maynam just keeps pushing it. She's like, please say it one more time. And Juan's like, no. No, go. So Maynam goes to her class. And next we cut to a scene with Tonnam in her car. And she's been in that same spot since we left her last time when she dropped off Chomphu. She has not left. She's just been sitting in her car this whole time. And it's now nighttime. So she's been sitting there all afternoon. And she gets a phone call from Chomphu asking if she's home yet. And Tonnam says, yeah, I'm home. And Chomphu comes up to her car window and is like, you're a liar. You've been here the whole time. And Tonnam's like, how did you know I was here? And Chomphu's like, we've been dating for a while. Like, I know you. Like, I know when you're stressed and you've been stressed. Like we've been together for so long. How would I not know? And she tells Tonnam tells her, I'm not stressed. I'm just a little slighted to be in a relationship that I always feel like I'm hiding in. And Chomphu, it's like she seems like she understands. And so she tells her, like, I talked to my mom. And Tonnam's like, wait, really? Like, you talked to her? Like, okay, how did that go? What did you say? And she's like, was it about us? And Chomphu's like, kind of. Like, I told her that I wanted to move into a condo so that we don't have to, so it'd be easier for me to commute to uni. And she agreed. And she's like, now we can finally live together, just the two of us, no more hiding, right? Isn't that great? And Tonnam's like, not really. I mean, it is, but it's not exactly what I thought it was gonna be, like the conversation. So I can. She pretty much tells Chomphu, like, I was hoping that you would have a conversation about us and our relationship, and telling your mom that we're together. And Chomphu tells her, I'm just trying to find the right time to do that. And it's like, you're never gonna find the right time. You just gotta do it. There is no right time, unfortunately. You just gotta do it. Rip the band-aid off. So next we see Juan at the store, and we see this dude come up to buy some stuff. And it's like, who are you? Okay. And so she rings him up, and he's looking at her very intently. And before he leaves, he asks her if there's any good places to eat around here. And she tells him to go to Pin's restaurant, or there's Kun's sack stall. That's really good. And so he thanks her and goes away. And she's like, oh, I'm really good at this customer service stuff. And so she goes to lock up, and Sam, Chomphu's mom, stops her and is like, hey, what are you doing? Like, we're gonna get together for a reconciliation dinner outside of the shop. So it's Sam, Pin, Juan, and Kun. They all have like a little dinner outside the shop, and it's actually really fun. It's really cute. I like how they did that. And they're all pretty much apologizing to each other and trying to get on the right track. And at some point, Sam asks Juan what her, like, if she's seeing anyone right now, because she's nosy. And Juan's like, oh, no, no, not right now. And she asks her what her type is. Maybe she knows everyone around here, so she can find someone for her. And or what her preferences are. If she has like unusual taste or anything like that. And Juan's like, no, I think my tastes are pretty normal. And but she quickly changes the subject so that she doesn't have to answer those questions. Um and they ask her how she's transitioning. Oh, what kind of job she had before this. And she was talking about how she used to be a secretary and an interpreter for a company. And Pen's like, oh, so you had an office job. So that must have been pretty different coming from there to here. And pretty hard. And Juan's like, it wasn't really hard, it was just confusing. Um she's like, I didn't really know, I still don't know if I made the right choice in quitting my job or not. And Kung tells her, nah, this is just a transitioning period. Like, you just haven't found your path yet. Like, so you're a little worried if you made the wrong choice or not. But he pretty much tells her, like, just keep going at it, you'll find your path. And he talks about how he used to work in an office too, but then he got laid off and he didn't know what to do. And so he started his business, his snack business. And he's talking about how when he got laid off, he was over 40. He didn't think anyone would hire him anymore. And so he was really stressing. But then he started his business and he's been happy ever since. And yeah, it was nice. It was nice to be able to like see all of them talking together and like coming to some kind of conclusion, reconciliation as the dinner is. But Juan starts having like a little inner monologue when Sam starts asking about her love life again. And she's like, if I pretend to be drunk and fall asleep, maybe they'll leave and I don't have to answer these questions. So that's what she does. I think she only has like one beer and then she just pretends to be asleep the entire time. And so they're all drinking and talking and having a good old time. Juan is just sitting there pretending to be asleep. And then after all that, Maynam comes in and she's like, hey, what happened to Juan? And they're like, oh, she's a lightweight. She's a lightweight. She cannot handle her liquor. She had one and she was out. And Maynam was like, okay, I'm gonna go take her upstairs and then I'll come back down. So she takes Juan upstairs, puts her in bed. Juan is still pretending to be asleep. You would think that after her and Maynam left that group, that she'd be like, okay, hey, I'm not actually asleep. I think I've been awake this whole time. I just didn't want to answer questions. But no, she sticks to it. So Maynam puts her to bed, and she kind of kneels next to her and just staring at her for a little bit, and then she says her name again, and she kind of whispers to her, I like you. And as soon as she says, I like you, Juan's eyes pop open. And she's like, huh? Man, I was like, were you not asleep that whole time? And Juan's like, yeah, wait. Like, I was just pretending when we were downstairs because I didn't want to answer questions. And Maynard's like, so you heard what I said earlier? And I was like, well, it was like 5 seconds ago. She heard you. But I was like, yeah, I heard that. Uh, and yeah, and Maynam, she says it again. She's like, I really like you. She's being very confident right now. She's like, I really like you. And Juan remembers what Noi told her before about if you're unsure about how you feel to hug someone. So she goes and hugs Maynam. And Maynam's just kind of sitting there like, oh, okay. And then she remembers sometimes it takes a kiss for you to really find out. And so Juan, she she doubles down. She goes and she kisses Maynam. That's our first kiss of the series. Episode 3. I was surprised it was so soon. I didn't think we were going to get a kiss until at least episode 4 or 5. But I forgot how many episodes this series has, so maybe that's why. But yeah, so we got our first kiss of the series. And Maynam looks shocked. Very, very shocked. She looks like a deer stuck in the headlights. Like, yeah. So yeah, that was episode 3. That was episode 3. That's a wild episode. But it looks like in the next episode 4, we got a little preview, and it looks like a lot of stuff is going to go down, especially with Chomphu and Tonnam. So I'm excited to see what happens with that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. What did you think of this episode? What did you think of the first kiss? What did you think of Maynam, kind of flirting with Juan through the security camera? And do you agree with the way that Juan handled the F1 stealing situation? Let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And please go to that community post that I talked about at the beginning of the episode on our YouTube page and let me know what you guys think of us possibly doing reaction videos and making it for members. And then if you guys want us to have a Discord, because we're open to all that. So let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.
พี่พบคุณสาคุณสา
คนที่ฉันรักคือไออุ่น